Welcome to a second edition of this season's Fantasy Picks, where all we do is talk about stuff that's not real. We talk about fantasy. I'm here, I'm Mindaugas and Kotryna, I work for BasketNews, and my beautiful and smarter last week colleague, Kotryna, is here to beat my ass every single week. Preferably not every week, but some weeks. Hi,
Hopefully
Kotryna.
all of them. I would say I'm down for the challenge to kick your ass for like 34 weeks. We'll see.
That's a lot of weeks, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for it. We'll see.
As I said, the first week it's a big Soviet ass to kick. So, yeah. So let's recap what we did the first week. We had our teams. We picked our players. I thought I picked the Bear team. I was completely wrong. I picked Kevin Punter as my captain, and he scored a whopping 8 points. So that wasn't good. Then I risked it with Marcus Howard, and that wasn't better either. That
Awful.
That single one point. 10 points, 5 assists, and 1 PAR point. So yeah, let's go.
Awful start.
92 points. In a round, overall, I was in the middle of the pack, but that was an awful round for me.
Yeah, it was. I actually have your teammates, stats in front of me. Awful start for you. I'm so sad. At the same time, I'm so happy for myself.
You are not sad for me.
I said that I'm going to kick your ass, and I think that was achieved for sure. In total, for me, I had some amazing players. I had Lorenzo Brown as my, captain. 55 points for that. Great decision. Also, I had Geoffrey Laverne, who got 19 efficiency score and fantasy points, 17.1. And both of us actually had some other players that performed really, really well. So I'm talking about Isaac Bonga and Chima Moneka.
Yep.
And in my case, also, I had Alexa Avramovic. One of the best performances for that price.
Hats off.
Yeah, I deserve that for sure. 23 efficiency points. I mean, incredible performance for sure. And he gained me more than 200K in BasketNews Fantasy. So yeah, amazing round for me. Champagne is popping. I hope I can continue.
After 1 week?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't say no to champagne every single week. So yeah.
Okay, that's alcoholism though.
What about total points? How many did you got?
92.05.
Not even 100.
Nope.
That's pretty sad. Well, I got 132.6. So it's not the best performance, but I feel like compared to your score, it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
You got my score and Mirotic's score combined. So.
Yeah, true.
So coming into this week, we had to make a difficult decision. Basically, with Maccabi Pleitika Tel Aviv and the EA7 Emporio Armani Milan game suspended indefinitely, we had to make a decision as a company, as an organization, what we had to do with those players, with their points. And of course, there were several decisions we could make. We could give them zeros, for example, and just give all the players one extra substitution. Fair, could have been. Some leagues and some platforms gave the average score, that is the score of the first round. So in that case, Nikola Mirotic gets 37 points, Josh Nebo gets 25, and Roman Sorkin gets 18, 19 or something. And we went against that. What we did is we decided to give each player the value that player was kind of projected to have before the season. That is, if the player was priced at 1.1 million, as was Siobhan Shields, for example, he would get 11 points. You basically moved the comma to the right. And that's how much points you get for that player. So in round 2, Nikola Mirotic will get 17 points, Siobhan Shields will get 11, Lorenzo Brown, which you had, will get 16 points.
Yeah, fair decision, actually. I'm not talking about those other, platforms that you mentioned. It doesn't seem right. But yeah, in this situation, of course, it's a really specific one, and hopefully it will solve itself sooner or later. But basically, totally agree with this decision about choosing the points that were selected before round one.
Yeah, so what did you do with Lorenzo on your team?
Yeah, so of course I made a trade. As sad as it is, he actually gave me like 270K to my wallet. Of course, he had an amazing game. We all saw that, right?
Yep.
In terms of performance, 22 points, 8 assists. He made 4 out of 5 3-pointers with 80% scoring percentage from far. So I was sad to have to trade him, but I made the decision. And it's a big bet from my end. I chose to make a trade and pick Darius Thompson in this round.
All right.
And I think it's a smart decision. Of course, it's a big bet. But knowing that his value dropped, first of all, from 1.5 million to 1.3 million, he did not perform well in round one. I think it's a bargain to pick him now. And hopefully we can see his full potential. He also performed well in the last Turkey Super League game with 14 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. And he also made 2 out of 4 3-pointers. So I'm hoping that he can, be as efficient in round 2 of EuroLeague. So that's my first trade.
But he's playing against Real Madrid.
Yeah, but I'm pretty confident about that. I still think that Real Madrid has more, let's say, odds are to their end in terms of winning, but they're gonna play in their home court, which is an advantage, of course. And I think he has a lot to prove after round one. So I'm hoping that this bet will, be successful and he will increase his value because now it's quite low.
You're basically predicting a bounce back game for him. Okay, fair point. As we mentioned, we both had Siobhan Shields on our teams. And with him bringing 11 points, I guess both of us subbed him out, right?
Yeah, of course.
So what did I do? I did the most basic thing, basically, in this situation. And I brought in a player who's going to play, I hope, 30-plus minutes. Because Luke Sigma will not be there, and Shaquille McKissick will not be there. So it's Alec Pierce. You too, I guess.
I knew it. I was thinking about him, of course. Like, he had an amazing game. I believe he played something around 36 minutes with Olympiacos in round one. Of course,
he couldn't have. That's Bartzoka's rotation. He can't.
Oh, let me check. It's 36. Okay. It's 36 minutes. Okay. It's almost 37 even, and he scored 17 points. Yeah, 10 rebounds.
There was an overtime. I forgot.
Yeah, so he did double. Okay. So yeah, of course I was thinking about him, as you mentioned, the situation in Olympiacos with Sigma and McKissick. But I decided not to pick him because his value increased that much that I feel like he will underperform. And therefore, his value will drop a bit. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Of course, he's going to be an important part of Olympiacos. However, I was not, convinced enough to pick him in terms of fantasy.
For him to underperform, he would have to score less than 9 fantasy points.
We'll see. Now everybody saw this round. I mean, I'm not expecting him to have incredibly bad game because of his position and how much he will mean in this game. However, I still think that in terms of how value increased for him after round one, it wasn't a smart financial decision, to pick him. But I understand your pick.
Okay, so what did you pick?
So I traded Siobhan Shields for... This is actually quite controversial. I'm not sure. This one is really, we'll see how the day goes, how the vibe is. But I picked a player from Žalgiris.
Ooh.
And I picked Rolands Smits.
Ooh.
Why? Because honestly, I have a good feeling about that game. honestly, it's super hard not to be biased because we're Lithuanian and we're of course cheering for Žalgiris. But they will be playing a game at their home court. It's gonna be a tough one because Red Star proved in round 1 how strong they can be. They're amazing shooters. But their backcourt obviously is like super good, but their front line is not that great in my opinion. So I think Rolands Smits will have an important role in Friday's game, and hopefully he can increase his value.
Okay, that's a bold bet, actually.
Yeah, it is. I'm
A
all
really
about
bold bet.
bets.
Because, like, people and basketball commentators here in Lithuania are beginning to say, like, he's having a post-World Cup slump at this moment. He played against Mažeikiai, my hometown, on Monday, and he was basically ass in that match. So that's a bold bet.
Yeah, but that's why I think fantasy is fun. You have to make those bold bets. You have to predict something that's going to be really unexpected. And I think he definitely has things to prove. As you mentioned, he didn't have an amazing, great game yet. But he has solid minutes. He played 26 minutes last game in round 1. He scored 10 points, did 1 rebound, 1 assist. He increased his value just by tiny bit, but I believe the matchup and the home court advantage will be on my side, and I can definitely get some points from him. So yeah.
I'm keeping Mike Toby, by the way.
Oh my God. We'll see how that's gonna go.
He was awful in the first game, but he has to play better, basically.
Hopefully.
I didn't imagine that Ognian Kuzmic is still a player in the EuroLeague. I didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. I also didn't think that Fabian Cozer exists on Real Madrid's team. He defended Marcus Howard.
Yeah.
Not anybody else.
Mistakes.
And
some mistakes
Marcus
were
Howard
made.
is playing against Alba Berlin this upcoming week.
Mm-hmm.
So he stays on my team.
Yeah.
He may score 1 point again, but he may score 30 against Alba Berlin.
Yeah, that's a big bet
because it's Alba
well.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Like bottom 2-3 team in the EuroLeague.
I mean, if you're keeping him for more than a couple of weeks, you're going to have this headache every single week, whether or not it's going to be minus efficiency score or plus.
But one important thing, he's now playing on the first day. Mm-hmm. So I can sub him out if he flops.
Yeah, so my pick of Rolands Smits also was based on the fact that he's going to play on day 2. And I have Janan Musa. He's still on my team, and who else? Oh, I also have Bonga, in my forward. So
everybody has Bonga now.
Chima Moneke as well. So
everybody has Chima Moneke.
Yeah. So, I think it's a decent pick for day 2, just in case one of these guys wouldn't perform that great.
And for day 2, I actually made 2 swaps. Mm-hmm. And I brought in probably the best bang for the buck in the entire game is Dario Bizela. Mm-hmm. For 300 and something thousand. He had 11 PIR last game. Or 10, I don't know. 10 probably, yeah. He had 10. He's playing solid minutes for that cheap. Welcome to my team. And another player who plays solid minutes on a more than solid team is a guard from Fenerbahce, Beko Istanbul, is Tyler Dorsey.
Okay.
He's my pick to probably replace Marcus Howard on the second day.
Yeah, solid picks actually. I didn't think about Brizuela. I'm checking his stats and he played 14 minutes, scored 7 points. If he
costs nothing.
Yeah, and if he costs less than 400k, really nice pick, really nice catch. There's not a lot from my end to comment about Dorsey. He had an amazing game as well. 15 points, 30 minutes on the court.
Yep.
He has an important part in Fenerbahce. So these two, decent picks. And I guess I can close my trades because both I had two players from this week's suspended game. Last one I made this decision because I didn't have a second. Let's say I wouldn't say good, but dominant center. Yes, I have Geoffrey Lauvergne in my starting five.
And you had Jaime Predilla.
I mean, he did actually perform
Yep.
really well.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
played decent minutes. He played 9 minutes, scored 3 points, and those 3 points came from a 3-point shot, which was unexpected. He also did 3 assists and 2 rebounds. So I couldn't expect anything better from him, to be honest. But now it's time to pick like a more, how to say...
more established player.
Yeah, that could spend more minutes on the court. And I also took a player who really, really underperformed in round 1.
Okay.
Because of the same reason, like I did with Darius Thompson. And I picked Brandon Davis as my second center. So yeah, his value dropped by 140K. In round 1, he did awful job. He played 15 minutes, only 4 points. But hopefully he will get back to those like 12, 13 efficiency points performance that he averaged last season. I watched the ACB League game where he scored 19 points and played 22 minutes. So I have my hopes up for him. It's also a big bet because Valencia will be playing against Fenerbahce. But I think for this price, and since it dropped, it's quite a good upgrade from Juan Pradilla, as a second center for day 2, just in case Geoffrey Lauvergne wouldn't perform that well.
All right. So these are our teams for round 2. Kevin Punter remains my captain.
Of course.
For some reason, for that same reason, actually. So who is your captain? Of course, Darius Thompson, yeah?
Yeah, he is my captain. We'll see how it goes, It's, it depends. We will see on Thursday if I have to substitute. But for now, it's definitely Darius Thompson as my captain.
All right, so this was the second edition of our Fantasy Picks. And we will meet the next week. Bye.
Yeah. Goodbye.